a great fighter.
You think he's a great fighter? But what do they think? What do you think about them comparing him to you? I mean, you're a legend, my friend.
Well, he'll be one too if he keeps fighting.
Oh, okay.
So why I think that is I've never seen anyone who was as big as this kid move as well as he does. For you to be that big, like 6'5", 250 pounds at only 20 years old, to move that well on your feet, to have
talents are so crazy, especially at this age, okay? It is so, what is he, 20, 21? And you know, he's starting to get compared to Mike Tyson as far as his trajectory.
Moses Itauma has quickly established himself as one of the most talked about rising figures in heavyweight boxing, and his performances at such a young age have drawn comparisons that only a handful of fighters in history have ever earned. Mike Tyson himself, one of the most iconic heavyweights of all time, praised Moses Itauma in powerful terms, focusing less on the physical gifts and more on the qualities that separate champions from contenders. Tyson emphasized that the hunger, focus, and discipline Itauma possesses are what will make him last, not just his ability to win.
If you listen, this is the thing. It has nothing to do with you losing. It depends on how you lose. You lose spectacularly, hey, they're gonna always use you. Depends on how you lose. You can lose and win at the same time.
Yeah, your stock can go up.
Yeah.
Some people be like, "Oh, you undefeated. You don't know. You don't understand." It's like, no, I do understand.
Yes, you do understand.
I came out on top, but I took the risk, and I had some close ones. But I also remember my last loss and how that made me feel, which made me not want to, lose again. And I just think that, given the climate of the game now with the social, like, you get crucified in boxing if you lose a fight.
Because the people that watch boxing now don't understand boxing. They look at it from a physical perspective.
I agree with that.
They don't understand it at all.
Yeah. Man, Cuss is grooming you and prepping you. And I saw a quote from him that thing almost brought me to tears. He said, at his age, he said, how do you stay alive? What's your motivation? He said, I'm alive because Mike gives me hope to stay alive. I have a reason with Mike.
Ariel Helwani, one of the most respected journalists in combat sports, has also placed Itauma in rare company. Helwani pointed out that Itauma has already achieved recognition and hype at an age where most fighters are still finding their identity.
Outside the boxing, but he's back. He's got his new fight is March the 1st in Bournemouth. So yeah, he's rolling the dice again. He's just had a little boy, so he took some time out.
Okay. When did you start to really feel like this could be a career, that you had a special gift? How soon into that, training journey did you start to realize, like, oh wow, this is what they're saying about me is different?
It's after I sparred Lawrence Okoli, my trainer at the time. He messaged me saying that what you've done today was crazy, unbelievable. If you stick at it, you can be one of the greatest boxers to live, heavyweight, sorry. And then I was like, okay, I'm not bad, but at this point, I'm a two-time European gold medalist, two-time national champion, but I still didn't think I was like,
Showbiz the Adult, a widely followed analyst and commentator on boxing, drew a direct comparison between Moses Itauma's destruction of Dillian Whyte and Mike Tyson's legendary demolition of Michael Spinx. He explained that just as skeptics once doubted Tyson's readiness before he flattened Spinx in less than 2 minutes, the same doubt surrounded Itauma before his bout with Whyte.
Serious bout and stuff like that. And, we never see Moses in this situation, something like that. And I responded by saying, this is going to be Mike Tyson Spinx. Remember that?
Moses will get hit so hard the first. He going to be gun shy for the rest of the fight, like Ryan versus Rolly. It's different level. He ain't been tested. That's what he said about. I remember those exact words when Iron Mike Tyson fought Michael Spinx. They said Mike Tyson never been in a ring with somebody of the caliber of Spinx. I'll never forget. So let's see.
And damn it, how identical this shit is just mind-blowing. Check this out.
Dillian Whyte looks a little big-eyed for me. He looks a little nervous for me, man. You gotta make 5 rounds. He looking down and shit. He looked like Michael Spinx.
Adipo also weighed in on the significance of Itauma's rapid rise, stressing that not every fighter needs years of tests before proving they belong at the highest level. He argued that some fighters demonstrate championship qualities so clearly that lengthy proving grounds are unnecessary.
He is a heavyweight that moves like a lightweight. Sorry, a light heavyweight. Certainly doesn't move like a lightweight, but a light heavyweight. He just darts in and out so quickly. Like, nothing about him physically looks 240 pounds. Bear in mind, that's the same weight as Daniel Dubois. He's the same height. It's only 10 pounds less than AJ. It's the same height as Dillian White. I'm sorry, same weight as Dillian White. But you look at his frame, he doesn't look that heavy. It's almost like he's very, I don't know, maybe a lot of that weight's in his legs, but he seems to move and glide around the ring so freely. So yeah, look, I'm very excited about him. I thought that if I watched it again, because obviously I made the video yesterday immediately after watching the fight, so I was very high. And I thought, okay, let me watch it again and maybe calm down a little bit. If anything, I've got higher. If anything, I've gone higher. I think he's incredible. I was at the airport with Lee Wood. And Lee Wood, obviously trained by Ben Davison. Lee Wood sees him train all the time. And he was like, dude, I'm not surprised. Like, I see this guy train all the time. I see what he does. I see who he spars. And sometimes you got to listen to those people. Again, we're not privy to any of that. All we see is a couple of rounds or 2 minutes on fight night. We don't see anything else, where people like Lee see it week in, week out. So look, I think he's incredible. Let's not waste no time. I've already wasted, what, 5 minutes or so. Let's talk about potential opponents. And this doesn't include, again, the top 3 guys. So this doesn't include Alexander Usyk. I'll tell you who it doesn't include. Doesn't include Alexander.
Lee Wood, a professional boxer trained by Ben Davison, offered valuable insight from behind the scenes. Having seen Itauma train regularly, Wood admitted he was not surprised by the outcome against White. He explained that those who observe Itauma's sparring sessions, his preparation, and his everyday work ethic know just how much talent he brings to the ring.
People are talking about you, and people are, you know, talking about you being maybe the next youngest world heavyweight champion after Mike Tyson, trying to break that record. You're 19 years of age now. Talking about your last performance, Marius Wack, big guy, strong guy, been in there, seen it, done it, boxed everyone, was expected to give you rounds. You went in there and took him apart in 2, right? So them expectations are obviously going to be talked about. People are obviously going to do that and compare you with the likes of Mike Tyson, and that is a good thing. And I think the champions feed off that sort of stuff, and that's what you do. You know, you don't let the pressure get you, but you deliver in your performances.
Yeah, like with, do you know what, I've kind of put myself with kind of making the comparison with me and Mike Tyson with completely different styles or whatnot, but I never really wanted to compare to no one. I kind of want to set my own path, like I said multiple times. Like, obviously, Joshua, Fury, Usyk, Tyson, all them lot, they've set their own path, so I want to set my own.
I think it's the age thing, isn't it? With the Mike Tyson thing, you know, where he become the youngest world heavyweight champion, 20 years of age and X amount of months, whatever that was. You're 19. You know, you put yourself in a position now that Frank Warren was on here talking about you boxing Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark. He said, tomorrow, now. That's the sort of level he sees you at. Of
course. If you look at my last fight, obviously that's where they will get their confidence.
Mark Tibs, who had previously worked as Dillian White's trainer, reacted to the knockout with an admission that carries significant weight. He said he was left speechless by the result, which is not a reaction that comes lightly from an experienced trainer who has seen many highs and lows in boxing.
Always and often rumors after a fight when a fighter gets blown out there early that there's some kind of injury. But what really intrigued me building up to this fight, and on the live stream, people who were seeing me, I was kind of confused by it, was why this has become a 10-rounder suddenly. I thought this was a 12-round fight. It was for various international belts and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see any reason why this wouldn't be a 12-rounder, especially when it's a pay-per-view main event. And I assumed that the reduction to 10 rounds indicated that there may have been an injury to Itauma with him being the A side, but then seeing the fact that Dillian White walked second to the ring tells me he maybe had a bit more negotiating power in this than I first thought, which then leads me to believe that potentially this rumor of him having an injury is actually true, and he wanted to reduce it to 10 rounds because of some sort of pre-fight issue. Now look, again, we don't really know if there was an issue with White, but he did look a bit sort of tender and he walked to the ring somewhat gingerly. I didn't read anything into that because I wasn't sure if he was just relaxed. But look, some people are saying he was injured. Sonny Edwards has posted that on Instagram. Sonny Edwards is obviously someone more in the know than I will ever be in terms of having his finger on the button, hearing rumors and all that kind of stuff. So I'm inclined to believe there may be some truth to it, but at the same time, once again, I want to reiterate, I always predicted Itauma to win this fight. I just didn't think he'd do it as quickly as he did. This might explain why Dillian White couldn't even last a few rounds, but at the same time, when I watched back those tactical details that I just showed you, that's stuff Dillian White's always done. That's nothing to do with a leg injury, and I fully believe that Itauma's work in there was smart. It was an executed game plan, and would a Dillian White with a leg injury have behaved any differently, or sorry, with or without a leg injury behaved any differently? I don't think so. I think that the issue with White is, and the reason he couldn't take him rounds, and I texted Jamie, me and Jamie were texting afterwards from Boxing Live, and I said to him, the problem with White is his weaknesses are too well documented. That's why he was not able to go as long as a Balogun, in my opinion. Everybody knows what Dillian Whyte's issues are. I suppose that I just felt he could get in there and survive a bit longer, fight very, very reserved and cautious, and take him rounds and then try and get him to make mistakes. But he couldn't even do that. And I think the biggest thing I've learned from this is that Itauma can execute under pressure. And because there was pressure in this fight, don't get me wrong. Now, he said after the fight that the Balogun fight was actually more pressure for him because he was supposed to win that so easily. Whereas with this, he saw it as a genuine contest. He felt more relaxed. To me, that's fine. You can think that way if you want, but to me, there was more pressure in this fight.
At the same time, Sam Jones offered a more cautious perspective that adds important balance to the narrative. While he gave Itauma credit for the win, Jones emphasized that the fight did not provide answers to critical questions. He pointed out that the bout ended too quickly to test Itauma's chin, stamina, or ability to recover from adversity.
Like, he didn't take away, it doesn't really ask the questions. We don't know anything new about Moses. We know he's special. We know he's fast. We know he can punch. We know he's just, he looks the real deal, doesn't he? But it didn't answer any questions. It was pretty much one of the easiest fights of his career, if not the easiest fight of his career last night.
Were you disappointed in Dillian's performance at all?
No, because look, he's 37, 38. I mean, I tweeted on the ring wall, he don't look at the races. There was no wolf howl. There was no, like, you know what I mean? Dillian's aggressive. Dillian's an aggressive guy. Like, I've not felt that. I felt like it's been a fed up Dillian. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was not the Dillian Whyte we're used to seeing. But look, it's hard because you don't want to downplay Moses' performance, because look, Moses has to go in there and beat who's put in front of him. The matchmaking was perfect. It's a great scalp. He's 20 years old, deserves all the credit in the world. But again, we have to judge on what we saw on Dillian's side, and he wasn't at the races.
We're hearing that he went into the ring with a possible injury. Is there any that you heard on your end?
Yeah, I've heard it all week. But look,